Hey guys, how's it going? So there's a new gun control package that's getting steamrolled through in Michigan. Yet again, I've told you guys many times that they're just getting started. And this is done under the guise of a domestic violence bill. Hold on, don't stop watching because a lot of you are thinking, well, of course we don't want people who are violent to have guns and all of this, but let me explain. Because in typical Democrat fashion, they're using this headline of domestic violence bill, but there's a lot more to it than that. Actually, there's much, much more to it than that. And like just a second here, I'm going to show you a clip from a recent House committee hearing where Tom Lambert from Michigan Open Carry is giving testimony. And he's an attorney and he's talking about some of the crazy stuff that is going to end up in this bill. I'll give you a couple teasers. Entering somebody's ice shanty that's valued over $100. Yeah, that could make you a prohibited person from owning any firearms for 8 to up to 15 years. How about this? Making an unsolicited commercial phone call after 9 p.m. if someone's ever had a certain domestic relationship with you. Using any electronic device to basically hurt somebody's feelings and their opinion at the end of the day. And there's a whole lot more to it than that. The Senate bills are SB 41, 471, and 472. 471 and 472. House bills 4946 and 4945. And it's literally crazy, and this is kind of going through under the radar, so I wanted to bring your attention to this. And it's moving through committee very fast, and this is inevitable that it's going to pass unless maybe enough people can call their reps and senators and demand that they actually look at this darn thing and see what they're voting on. So let's jump over to the old committee hearing room, and you're going to see right away how the pro-Second Amendment witness is handled by the committee chair, and I found this is typical standard fare since the session has started this year in Michigan. And chime down in the comments and let me know how nuts you guys think this is. And also let me know how you think Mr. Lambert was treated by the committee chair. Because, look, this was an hour-and-a-half hearing, and I didn't put all of it in there because I didn't want to bore you guys and make the video too awfully long. But, of course, the other side, the proponents of this gun control bill, which is literally insane and has almost so many things to do with just controlling you and taking gun rights away, Second Amendment protected rights that were endowed by your creator, under the guise of domestic violence. It's just nuts. But so many proponents of this bill were allowed to ramble on and on and on. And very few people ever even show up to these committee hearings to side with the Second Amendment. And when they do, they're usually treated about like what you saw here, but actually this is more on the polite side for how they've been treating pro-Second Amendment witnesses. It actually has gotten a lot worse than that. So listen to it and let me know in the comments what you think.
Members of the committee, thank you very much for your time today and for the opportunity to speak. My name is Tom Lambert. I am the Legislative Director for Michigan Open Carry, here to testify in opposition to these bills. We frequently hear in the gun community that the anti-gun community isn't actually about stopping violence, it's about control. We also hear very frequently that the anti-gun community doesn't understand our existing laws, which is why they continue to push for more that don't make sense. Both of those things are absolutely front and center today. And to be clear, none of this takes away from any of the very harrowing stories that you've heard today. They are not the problem. The problem is they are being lied to. They're being lied to that these bills would help their very unfortunate situations. The reason is nothing in these bills.
Sir, I don't appreciate you commenting on what may or may not have been said to these folks who've lost loved ones and experienced violence themselves.
I've heard plenty of testimony here today that has been absolutely incorrect, and I will restate that nothing in these bills would help their situations, and I'm happy to explain exactly how that is.
If you can do so briefly.
The reason is nothing in these bills focuses on violence. We've heard lots of stuff about violence today. Concerning violence, absolutely. But these bills don't focus on violence. They completely missed the absolute most important part of what we're here to do today. They don't focus on violence. there was a question about, well, do these actually focus on things that include violent acts? And the answer was, well, in that person's experience, these are prosecutions related to domestic violence. Well, if we look at the sections that are listed here in the Penal Code, they include misdemeanor offenses, such as making an unsolicited commercial call after the hours of 9 p.m. That would cause somebody to lose their gun rights if they happen to do it to somebody that had a domestic relationship to them. Now, I'm not making any defense for making an unsolicited commercial call after the hours of 9 p.m. I only suggest to you that it shouldn't result in somebody losing their firearm rights for roughly 8 to 15 years. Using a telecommunications device where they use indecent language and it results in the other person being annoyed, that would cause somebody to lose their firearm rights under these bills. Entering someone's ice shanty valued at over $100, regardless of whether the ice shanty is occupied or not without the person's permission, would cause somebody to lose their gun rights for 8 to 15 years. I suggest to you that all of these things, again, have nothing to do with violence. Because if you look in the definition of what the misdemeanor domestic violence means, it says all of the misdemeanors in the sections listed. And these sections include many, many, many misdemeanors that, again, have absolutely nothing to do about violence. We've heard, well...
Sir, I think you've made your point. Is there more to your testimony?
Absolutely. We've heard enough is enough when it comes to, well, what if this violates the Second Amendment? Okay, well, circuit courts across the country, federal circuit courts, are already striking down felony prohibitions based on nonviolent felonies. How do you think those courts are going to handle prohibitions based on nonviolent misdemeanors? But hey, enough is enough. We've also heard that the clearest cases that we've ever had showing that this is why we need this. Oh, I'm not sure how entering the ice shanty of another is the clearest case we've ever heard that we need these bills, but I didn't make the comment. We've also heard that it's a lifetime prohibition under federal law that is false. We've heard that there are more convictions associated with domestic violence under federal law, or more in this bill than federal law, which not associated with domestic violence. There's more convictions in this bill, but again, they're not associated with domestic violence. To this point that this is said to mirror federal law and apply federal law to the state, again, the statement is 100% absolutely false. You also have issues with First Amendment in here. You can make comments, get a misdemeanor, be prohibited from having your firearm rights. There's Fifth Amendment takings issues in here with regards to the person being able to sell their firearms.
Thank you, sir.
I've also been part of a case.
Thank you, sir. We need to move on.
No questions? Thank you very much for your time.
All right, well, I'm going to the Capitol tomorrow, guys. I'm not a lawyer, and it's actually hard to even follow these bills, because when you go to look up the bills, you're going to be like, okay. But then it says also all these other bills under the subsection of this and that. It gets very, very difficult. But I'm going to try to find out more information on this and see if there's anyone that wants to talk to me about it. And if they do, I'll bring them on camera so they can talk to all of you. But this is insane. So remember, call your reps in Michigan. Call your senators. I'll leave links to both of those down there in the pinned comment. So make sure you check that out. And yeah, this is what we're facing. And it ain't over yet. It ain't over until we tell them it's over, quite frankly. So. All right, guys, I'll let you know as this progresses further, but it's moving very quickly, and there's a lot more stuff they have planned that could be coming up any day now. All right, thanks for watching, and have a good one.